Alright, 1960. We So for the best, I gotta go the apartment, but I think Lee Trial is pretty close. And then I think Little Shop of Horrors is um, the original one is really underrated. That movie is hilarious. And then for the worst one, I gotta go Comanche Station, a really boring western. We got 1961. The best one, I'd say the best one is the the steamroller and the violin. Super underrated. Super underrated, guys. Um, it's my favorite Andrei Tarkovsky movie, guys. But people act like it doesn't exist. People act like he only made 7 movies. But worst one, I gotta go through a glass darkly. I thought that was really boring. I got 1962. The best one, gotta go The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. It's a classic, guys. And then the worst one, I gotta go with the Intruder. I was pretty disappointed by it. I got 1963. The best one is High and Low. The worst one is Blood Feast. An infamously bad movie. And then 1964. The best one, gotta go with I Am Cuba. But shout out to Blood and Black Lace as well as The Killers. And then the worst one, I gotta go Doctor Strangelove. Although if I saw it again, I'd almost most definitely rate it higher than that. Now 1965, the best one is what's it called? And then for a few dollars more, and then worst one, I gotta go with I Saw What You Did. It's like 2 kids witness a murder and like they call the murderer. I think it's okay, but yeah. Then 1966, best one has gotta be The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's an all-time great for a reason, guys. And then the worst one is another infamously bad movie, Manos: The Hands of Fate. The movie's really bad. We got 1967. The best one. Which one's better? Okay, which one is better, Happy End or Lee Samurai? Sounds at 127. So Lee Samurai is better. So the best one of 1967 is Lee Samurai, and the worst one is Wavelength. Yeah, this movie sucks. But people pretend that they like it. And then 1968, we got some contenders, but I think the best one is 2001: A Space Odyssey. But there's some contenders there. And then the worst one is The Immortal Story, directed by Orson Welles. It's really bad. Extremely boring. But now we got 1969. So the best one has got to be The Cremator. Really underrated. Well, not underrated, but underseen. And then a shout out to Take the Money and Run. That's a great comedy. One of the best of all time. But the worst one's gotta be what's this one called? Back and Forth. Yeah, it's another one of those boring ones. And then we're on 1970. The best one is Valerie in Her Week of Wonders. This movie's kind of weird. It has like child nudity in it, but it's not that bad. And then the worst one is The Muppets on Puppets, a really boring documentary. Now 1971. Best one has got to be Dirty Harry. It's a great, it's a savage, it's a super savage maverick. And then the worst one gotta be Richard Pryor Live and Smoking. But honorable mention to Bananas. I think that's a really underrated. I got 1972. The best one is obviously the Godfather. And then the worst one I think is Solaris. I thought that this movie sucks. So boring. Very disappointing. I got 1973. So the best one is Paper Moon. Paper Moon's probably top 15 of all time. It's just an all-time great, guys. And then the worst one is Fantastic Planet. It's really boring. We got 1974. I would say the best one is The Godfather Part 2, but honorable mention to Black Christmas. I think that movie's underrated. And another honorable mention to Rabid Dogs. But the worst one has got to be Deadly Weapons. It's really boring. And then 1975, best one got to be Barry Lyndon. Can't go wrong with Barry Lyndon. And the worst one has got to be The Mirror. Very disappointed again by Andrei Tarkovsky. Then we're on to 1976. The best one's got to be Network. And the worst one has got to be Children, directed by Terrence Davies. Now we're on to 1977, like the Blazers. Well, the best one, I think Annie Hall is better than A New Hope, to be honest. And then the worst one is probably The Easter Bunny is Coming to Town. That's probably the worst one. But it's not bad. Now we're on to 1978. The best one's Blue Collar. That's a good movie. Worst one, gotta go to I would say Mr. No Legs probably is worse than Autumn Sonata. Because Mr. No Legs was barely in the movie. He's like a guy on a wheelchair and it has like guns on it. And then 1979, the best one is Apocalypse Now. But shout out to this movie though. Shout out to The Man Who Stole the Sun. And then the worst one is John Denver in the Muppets Christmas Together or whatever. No, 1980, guys. So the best one has got to be Empire Strikes Back. But honorable mention to The Elephant Man. And then the worst one, probably no. I would say Andy Kaufman plays Carnegie Hall. But Rude Awakening has a good twist. And we got 1981. So I think the best one is They All Laughed, directed by Peter Bogdanovich. And then the worst one is Vernon, Florida. It's a really boring documentary. Around the 1982. So the best one is got to be the Thing. And the worst one, I'd say Blade Runner. I was super disappointed by Blade Runner, but I should probably watch it again sometime. No, 1983. The best one is Angst. It's pretty underrated, I think. And then the worst one, gotta go with John Denver and the Muppets Rocky Mountain Holiday. And then 1984. The best one. The best one is Amadeus. Well, actually, it's at 15. It's at 10. Yeah. So best one is Amadeus. It's close with Paris, Texas, and then worst one. I guess the Karate. No, I mean I haven't seen the Karate Kid since I was like 7. So I'll say Stop Making Sense is worse. That was super boring. And again, 1985. The best one is Come and See, but honorable mention to Tampopo and Back to the Future and Pee Wee's Big Adventure. And then the worst one. I'd say the worst one. Yeah, the worst one's Kronos. It's pretty good. It's a drag to get through. No, 1986. The best one is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's a really entertaining movie. And then worst one, gotta go The Mouse and the Motorcycle. It's a made-for-TV like movie about like Stuart Little or something. No, 1987. The best one is Evil Dead 2. But I think The Hidden and Anguish are both really good. And then the worst one is Christine. This movie is super boring. And it's like what a girl just walks around and shoots up heroin. She just like shoots up heroin with like other kids. It's supposed to be like shocking, but it's just super boring. 1988. The best one is Grave of Fireflies. But shout out to Daffy Duck's Quackbusters. It's on Internet Archive. And then the worst one is It's Impossible to Learn to Plow by Reading Books. This movie is super boring. We got 1989. I'd say the best one. I would say the best one is Twin Peaks Northwest Passage. And then the worst one is Tetsuo the Iron Man. This movie is really overrated. It's like extremely, extremely, extremely boring. I got 1990. Best one's Goodfellas. Worst one, Slacker. I should watch Slacker again though. I got 1991, like the Bulls. So the best one's gotta be Silence of the Lambs. Can't go wrong with that one. And then I'd say the worst one. Worst one is The Christmas Tree. But I will say this movie has this bitch, Miss Mavilda. And she is the most hateable movie character of all time. Hands down. Miss Mavilda. Probably the most effective movie villain of all time. It's worth watching to see Miss Matilda. She's that hateable. And then 1992, best one is Reservoir Dogs. And then worst one's probably Pinocchio, made by Good Times. And then 1993, best one is Schindler's List. Top 10 movie, top 5 maybe. And then worst one is Hocus Pocus. I think I watched that in like fifth grade like class or something. In 1994, like Hakeem. Best one has gotta be Shawshank Redemption. Worst one, gotta go Satan Tango. It's really not that bad, but it's like 7 hours long. I can't give that a high rating because it was super boring. Well, it wasn't even super boring, but it's just like I can't give that a high rating because it wasn't really entertaining. It's like, yeah, like 8 hours, like 7 hours or something. 1995. Best one has got to be Seven. Arguably like probably a top three thriller. And then yeah, there's a lot of good movies here. There's 1995, but the worst one has got to be probably go with Heidi. By Good Times. Really bad animated movie. I got 1996. I would say the best one is Train Spotting. And the worst one, Cremaster 1. I watched that like a few days ago on the bus. It's super boring. 1997. Best one is Life is Beautiful. But shout out to Affliction. Affliction is super underrated. And then worst one is Batman and Robin. That movie's genuinely terrible. And then 1998, best one is Saving Private Ryan. But shout out to Happiness. Shout out to A Simple Plan. I'm trying to watch this one again because it was surprisingly incredible. And then worst one, I don't know. Psycho 1998 doesn't really count. I'll say the worst one is Damned, which is directed by Murr from Impractical Jokers. It's like a comedy about it says it's an alternate retelling of biblical stories told as Jesus being a teenager. It's like really bad, but like it's kind of funny. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure he said it costed like $30,000, and he didn't go to college because he wanted to make Damned instead. I only got 1999, so this is very, very stacked. I'd say the best one's Fight Club, and then second best, I'd say American Beauty. Third best is The Green Mile. But this is really, really stacked. Very stacked year. But the worst one is the underground comedy movie. It's one of the worst comedies I've ever seen. It's like a shitty YouTube video that would come out in like 2014. But now we're on to the 2000s, and we're going with 2000. The best one's Memento. Second best is Sexy Beast. I watched Sexy Beast like 2 days ago. And then the worst one is Snatch. The movie's extremely, excruciatingly boring. Now I got 2001. Best one. So this is a pretty stacked year. Um, Best one is probably Spirited Away, but I'll say second best is probably Waking Life. Third best is Storytelling. Storytelling is super underrated. I would highly recommend Storytelling, even though it sounds like it would be boring, but it's not. And then the worst one's Pootie Tang, directed by Louis C.K. It's just a terrible movie. We got 2002. Best one is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. This one, Two Towers, is my favorite one. And then I will say, shout out to Red Dragon. I think it's super underrated. It's like the perfect thriller, nearly. And then also shout out to 25th Hour. I really enjoyed that. But the worst one is Rabbits. It's just really boring and like it's pointless. But now I got 2003. Best one is Memories of Murder. Memories of Murder is like a top 5, like top 6, top 7 type movie. And then shout out to 1114. It's really underrated. And then the worst one is Dogville. It took me like a whole week to watch it because it's so boring, guys. Now I got 2004. I'd say the best one is what's this one called? Yeah, best one's Nobody Knows. And then worst one, 2004 is a pretty great year. But worst one, I don't think Suburban Sasquatch really counts. So I'll say the worst one is Easter Carol, Veggie Tales, or Anchorman. I think Anchorman is terrible. But I should probably watch it again. I bet it's not that bad. But when I watched it, I thought it was so boring. But then I got 2005. I think the best one is Batman Begins. Probably. Yeah, best one's Batman Begins, but Pusher 3 is close. It's my favorite one of the trilogy. And then the worst one is it's gotta be the Zodiac. It's just like I don't really remember it, but it's just so bad. No, it's like the Zodiac like isn't dead or something. It's really stupid. Although I will say, save the safe side, Stranger Safety. I don't know. Can't really even rate that. I got 2006. So the best one is The Departed. It's like a top 10 movie in my opinion. But shout out to OSS 117, the first one. I think it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite comedy movies. And then the worst one, it's got to be Garfield 2, A Tale of Two Kitties. It's really boring. 2007. Best one is Zodiac. Zodiac's like top 10. And then this is a really stacked year as well. You know, shout out to Louis C.K. Shameless. Shout out to Alvin and the Chipmunks. Shout out to Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Shout out to Sunshine, even though the ending is pretty bad. And then, but the worst one, which is worse? Garfield 3D Is that what it's called? No, it's Garfield Gets Real. Yeah. And then we're playing Plan B. I think Plan B is probably worse. Slightly more boring, but they're both awful. And then 2008, best one is the Dark Knight. But you know, shout out to Love Exposure and this too. This is probably my favorite documentary. And then worst one. What even is this? Oh yeah, this thing. Yeah, it's like Clone Wars movie that had like Jabba the Hutt in it. It's really really bad. This movie should not be 98 minutes. It should be like 75 max. Yeah, that one's the worst. And then 2009. Best one's Inglorious Bastards. I will say that The Taking of Pelham 123 2009 is, I think it's underrated. Same with the Squeakquel, of course, and Paul Blart. Both are really underrated. But the worst one is Garfield's Pet Force. Yeah, like I said, it looks like a mobile game cutscene. It's just super boring. But now we're on to the 2010s with 2010. So I'd say the best one. Best one's MacGruber. Really underrated. Probably the most underrated comedy ever. And then the worst one. Bro, worst one might. Worst one is probably Fred. Directed by Clay Weiner. Yeah, Fred's probably the worst one. Hmm. I'm gonna change this rating. I don't think Despicable Me is that bad. The first one. Then we're on to 2011. So this is a very hot take. I think the best movie that came out in 2011 is Spy Kids for All the Time in the World. It is a extremely funny film. You know, it has a lot of characters you can poke fun at, like Cecil and like the prankster girl, and like the guy with the spy show, and like the baby who farts. Yeah, and the villain is pretty cool as well. I think that movie's really underrated. But the worst one's probably Romeo and Juliet. I watched that in class, and that was a very bad experience. But a dishonorable mention has got to be Horrid Henry the movie. We're going to 2012. So the best one is The Hunt. Um, it's about a. It's like a kid says that a guy showed him his penis when he didn't. It's pretty interesting. But honorable mention to Seven Psychopaths. Very, very good. But the worst one is Cinderella Once Upon a Time in the West. I had to watch this. Well, I didn't have to, but I watched this with a 5-year-old. Definitely did not want to watch this. Really, 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 really bad. From 2013. Best one's Prisoners. Probably my favorite movie. And the worst one, I'd say the worst one's probably either. I'm not gonna pick one, but I mean, I guess the worst one's probably Phineas and Ferb, Mission Marvel. I always thought that was bad, even when I was like 8. Now 2014, the best one's Whiplash, but I think Birdman is really good. And then worst one, worst one is worst one is um. I can't really pick because I watched. Because the thing is, I watched Jungle Shuffle in 2023, but I watched Earth to Echo in 2014, so I can't really pick. So I'll just say the worst one is Earth to Echo and Jungle Shuffle. But both are like two of the absolute worst movies I've ever seen. They were on in 2015. So the best one is Sicario. It's a great thriller. And then the worst one, the worst one's Demolition. Demolition might be like my least favorite movie. It's based off how badly I wanted it to end. And then 2016, the best one is My Life as a Zucchini. Yeah, there's a good amount of good movies on this year. But the worst one is probably Monster Trucks. Watched this in like fourth grade class for like the last day of school. And then 2017, I think the best one's probably good. I don't know. Can't really pick. Best one's either Good Time or First Reformed. I don't know, really know. Um, but the worst one is probably the Emoji Movie. To be honest, I'd probably rather watch. Well, if honestly, I think Wonder might be worse than the Emoji Movie. If I'm being honest. If you gave me the choice to watch Wonder or watch the Emoji Movie, I'd rather watch the Emoji Movie, but I don't know if that makes it better. We got 2018. So best one's Avengers Infinity War. People hate on it because it's it's a superhero movie. People hate on it because it's a mega popular superhero movie made by Disney. But like, I think it's an action adventure masterpiece. And then the worst one, worst one is either The Hate You Give, which I had to watch like this month in class, or the 1517 to Paris. 1517 to Paris might be the worst movie ever. It's probably the worst movie I've ever seen in theaters. But I think The Hate You Give is probably worse. And then 2019. I'd say the best one is Knives Out. It really grew on me on the first rewatch. And then the worst one is How High 2. I don't know if I've actually seen the whole thing, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know if How High 2 counts completely, but this one, is probably worse. The Beach Bomb. This movie was so bad. Like, I'd rather watch Airplane Mode than that. Now we're on to the 2020s. I don't really watch a lot of movies that came out like in the 2020s, but I'd say the best one in 2020 is The Father. And then the worst one, I don't know why I watched this. It's not even a movie. But The Murder of George Floyd, A Nation Responds, which does have Chef from South Park appear in this. But if we're talking the worst actual movie, the worst one's probably Trolls World Tour, I guess. 2021. Best one's The Suicide Squad. I think that movie's really underrated. And then the worst one is probably The Eternals. It's definitely the worst Marvel movie. If not the worst superhero movie. Now we got 2022. The best one is gotta be The Batman. But shout out to Jackass Forever. Shout out to Apollo 10 and a half. Those are both really good. But the worst one of 2022, it's gotta be Minions Rise of Gru. I fell asleep in the theater. So I thought it was so bad. I got 2023. Best one. Best one's probably Best one's John Wick 4. I wish I was able to see it in theaters, but I don't really care. I kind of like watching movies on my computer more anyway. And then worst one is Minimalist Shark horror movie. It's just like colors flashing on the screen. It's like quirky. And I got 2024. Last year. The best one I think is Memoir of a Snail. I thought, it was directed by Sam Elliott. I think it's better than Mary and Max. Yeah, I thought it was super good. And then the worst one, probably I gotta go with Rachel Hunger. Extremely boring. And now this year, I don't know if I've even seen any movies this year. If they came out this year, yeah, I have seen 2. Best one is a Minecraft movie. And then the worst one is Bill Burr Drop Dead Years, guys. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, guys.